welcome to my podcast, The Happy Hacker with Ambition. It's all about me, my pony Indy, Eek and Tia, and my friend Laura and her daughter Lucy and their ponies. What we get up to, all the problems we have owning ponies, and everything else that goes with horse ownership. Hi, welcome to my podcast, The Happy Hacker with Ambition. It is, I don't know what day it is, Thursday, I think. Yeah, it's Thursday. And a lot has happened since I last posted since the last podcast of The Happy Hacker with Ambition. I was procrastinating about possibility of getting another pony. Obviously, Eek and Tia, my World Trust Welfare ponies, are living the life of luxury and are both retired. Obviously, Tia's been retired ever since I've had her, and Eek has had the whole of the winter off and is just happy being a paddock pony. So she's just more comfortable being a paddock pony. And the problem I was having was that Indy is intermittently lame. I'd get her going, we'd be doing really well, and then she would go just slightly off. I know a lot of people wouldn't even notice it, but obviously I do. And had a long chat with Laura about it, and as always, Laura was able to make me see clearly. And she just said to me, "You're not really getting any younger and you want to go out and compete." And she's absolutely right. So I thought about it. I did it a bit. We were both looking, and we found something from a local dealer who's got an excellent rep. And I booked to go and have a look at this pony. And the last minute I pulled out. Upsetting, obviously, the dealer, but bless her, she was very sweet, and I said to her, "Look, I'm just being I'm not sure at the moment." Reorganized it, went along to have a look at her. She was really sweet. Obviously for me, temperament was really, really important because Indy is a bit of a challenge. So I wandered around her, I stroked all over her back, tickled under her tummy, picked her feet up, walked right round her, watched her be tacked up, watched her ride out on her own. She's used to being ridden out on her own. She had got previous owner was quite nervous, but I was told she was quite forward going. She is a trotter cross, so when stressed she will trot and pace behind. But I have to tell you, I've seen this little pony canter a 20-meter circle beautifully balanced. So I then got on her in the arena. I watched her pop a little jump, which is obviously what I said that I wanted. I got on her, rode her down to the end of the school, and up popped a lady who was in a garden and made her jump, which was brilliant because she didn't run. She just sort of went, "Oh, what's that?" And it was a great experience for me to be riding her, and I felt really at home. And she gave me a beautiful walk around the arena. She's not particularly schooled, and she's only young. She came home. We popped her into a quarantine area, monitored her for a couple of days. Then I had Cairo was coming, lovely Ken Skinner was coming to do Indy and to do the spring checks for Donny and for Bally. And I asked if he had enough time whether he would look at Ginny. And he wasn't sure he was going to have enough time, but bless him, he made enough time. He really looked at Indy, which was great. And I'd said about how she'd been intermittently lame. He went all down. As we all know, Ken is he doesn't practice as a vet anymore, but obviously has the eye of a vet. He checked all down her leg for me as well. He rotated it, and he said as I had thought that perhaps she had slight stiffness in her knee. So the intermittent lameness could be down to when I do a lot of work with her, and it goes to her knee. Other than that, I had put the rib back in place. Woohoo! Really chuffed with that. He was really pleased with Indy. Then came to look at Ginny, and she was just slightly out on her pelvis on the left-hand side. But other than that, Ken said to me, "Look how she's presenting, beautifully square, beautifully happy." I'm not sure she's ever had a physio before. I don't know, but she was really, really good. And we were pleased. He was really pleased with her. He said she's lovely. Then we had the vet come, who was giving Bally her second jab. This is the jab for sweet itch, to stop, help prevent sweet itch, which Laura and I had discussed about, and I thought it was worth a go, as Bally does get sweet itch, and she can get quite upset by it. But obviously the other thing that we do is Diaset and fly rug and all the other things that we do down there. And she had the jab, and she literally was jabbed, which is not great. And I had booked the vet to come and do the first of Ginny's jabs, because she has no jabs in her passport whatsoever. And I asked the vet also to look at her teeth and do her teeth. And her teeth actually were just sharp. That was all it was. Just needed that. And I said, "Oh, how old do you think she is?" Because the passport says 7, but a horse between 7 and 14 is very difficult to judge. The way I think Ginny is, I would say that she does look 7, but I could do a whole podcast on passports and what a mess equine passports are, but I shan't go into my rant. But it does show that she is 7, and they think that she is 7 too. But I'll have Carrie Massingham, when she comes to do Laura's horses, have a look and just see what she thinks as well, so we can do that. We've moved from winter paddocks to summer paddocks as well. So not only has Ginny been there, we've moved her into the other field. She was really sweet. She's actually in the paddock with Indy, and they're getting on really quite well. The good thing about it is that Ginny is not bullied by Indy and tells Indy off, and I can now go into the paddock and catch Indy without having to have my stick with me in case she charges at me, because Ginny won't let her do that. So, and Indy seems happier. It's really nice. They've mutually been grooming. Indy has her muzzle on at night, and she can still groom Ginny. But we've had some terrible wet weather. We've had some frosty weather. I've started a new job and completely fooled everybody by the time I turned up one morning. But Ginny seems to be taking it all in a stride. I walked around our grass schooling area first, and then I got on and Laura walked around with me, and then I rode her with Laura walking with me, and then Laura standing away and me moving around. And that was good. I checked all her saddle. Obviously, I checked for saddle fitting, and she's got, although she's a bigger pony, she's 14.3. She actually has a small back, and I measured it, and I thought that Indy's 16.5-inch saddle would be a good fit, and it's actually a very good fit. So I can use it for both the horses, which I'm really happy. I do have a 17-inch saddle, but I think personally that's right on the edge of what she could take, and the 16.5 seems to fit her quite nicely. Eeks old, I say old, Eeks Lemure winter girth, the brown one that I bought her, fits beautifully. and is great. So I'm really pleased about that. I've got a bridle from Laura. She's lent me a bridle. She needs a full for the head and for the brow band. She needs a cob size cheek piece, and at the moment we are looking at different bits. Obviously steering, she's not brilliant steering yet. She doesn't totally understand. She goes off the voice, it's really good, so I'm going to keep her doing all the voice commands, and she seems to be going quite well. We tried Laura's beautiful breastplate that she had on her lovely horse Polly, which was beautiful. It's probably only been worn once, but it is a little bit big. So then I just used a stirrup leather over her neck, and Laura thinks that she has actually got a martingale that will fit her. I think she does need a martingale. She does tend to throw her head up a little bit. After the second time that I rode her, Laura said to me that I needed to stop riding her like a just-backed horse and to get on with it a bit more, which is good. And she said, you're building up a new relationship with this pony, and she needs to trust you, and you need to take time to build that up, which is great. I go into the field and I talk to her and we spend time with each other, and it's really good. And we'll get there. If she learns to trust me, I think she will get bolder. She does move beautifully, she really does. I said to Laura that I wasn't sure whether I was a good enough rider, and she said to me, couldn't you ride Indy? And I thought, you know what, yes. And I rode Indy yesterday, and Indy went beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And then she got tired because she's been out of work for a bit and put her parts on, and I rode through it, and she went beautifully again. And I had a little jump on grass, which I haven't done on Indy for a year. I haven't jumped her on grass for a year because last summer was so hard. So that was great. I mean, only a tiny weeny little cross pole, but hopefully I was hoping today that I'd be able to ride and jump Indy again today, work on Ginny and get going. They complement each other. They're so different, but they complement each other. I'm loving riding. Love riding both of them. Can't wait. We've had pouring rain today. The sun has now come up, but what we have to be careful of is what it's doing to the ground when we ride on it. So I'm not sure what the plan is today, whether we leave it today and we ride tomorrow, because the rest of the weekend is meant to be sunny and dry. So it may just be worth for us to go, okay, today we won't ride, but we will ride tomorrow, which will be good. So it's all been a bit exciting having a new pony. Michelle came down today to have with Ralph, her dog, to have a little look at Ginny, and just to see what, and she said how beautiful she is, and she is beautiful, and she's a beautiful soul as well. And she's making Indy into a nice poo pick because it was pouring with rain. So I just thought, I'm so wet now, I'm coming home. So that's exciting news for the Happy Hacker with Ambition. So we've got somebody new to follow along with Indy. Eke and Tia, as I've said, are happy and retired, obviously in the big field on their own. I will be doing that later on today, and hopefully we'll be able to go out and do a little bit more as we progress. Thank you so much for listening to the Happy Hacker with Ambition. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. By subscribing to your podcast provider, that helps me make more podcasts. Thank you so much.